welcome to the stage, Jay Knight!
Sit there and fall off the stage if I don't do it with my heels already. Is this thing on?
It will be.
Okay, I'll just la la la. Oh, I did not know I could hit that note. So I just surprised myself way too much. So, I have a new theory about being the youngest child. Most of the people I know that are youngest children are like, my parents strove to perfection and then they reached me and so they stopped trying. But I know better. My parents had 4 children and I am the 4th. So, they didn't have perfection. They really screwed up. They got weird. And then they had me and were like, this is a lot of work. Maybe we should stop. And then they decided to have my sisters raise me. My first time realizing this was when I was in kindergarten. And I got really, really excited because I came home and was like, Mom, guess what I learned today? And my mom looks at me. She said, what did you learn? I learned how to tie my shoes. And my mom just looks at me and goes, didn't your sisters already teach you how to do that? No, they did not. But it only got worse. You see, moms are supposed to have a period talk with you. Mine didn't. And I'm not talking about the 90s where your mom like slid you a book and was like, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, figure it out. I mean, there was nothing. I was 11 years old when I started my period. On Halloween, so I'm dressed up like Queen Amidala, suddenly thinking I am dying. This was not Attack of the Clones, it was Attack of the Hormones. Queen Amidala died in childbirth, but I can tell you, I was dying, but it wasn't because I was pregnant. Do you want one more? Got one more bad Star Wars period joke. I don't remember it though. It got worse though. My mom, she sort of redeemed herself because 4 months later, she comes into my bedroom and I'm sitting on the floor because it was a cabinet under the stairs and I had a bed and a floor and that was about it. Listening to Panic at the Disco's A Fever You Can't Sweat Out album. And being 12 years old, I didn't know what the title of that album actually meant. And she sits down and goes, Jay, I need to talk to you about something. Oh good God, you knew that I failed my math test. Again. She goes, one day, you're going to start bleeding in your panties. There's pads under the bathroom sink. If you have any questions, ask your sisters. And that was it. For a long time. My sisters didn't teach me how to tie my shoes, so I wasn't going to ask them about anything. But my parents also didn't give me the sex talk until I went to college. Now, I went to the same college my dad taught at. And so everyone started looking at me and be like, oh, you're Dr. Dale's kid. We can expect great things from you. I would look at them and be like, my dad has a medical doctorate and teaches anatomy to entry-level people at a community college, but please, keep looking at me like I'm Harry Potter holding a wand. My dad was a really, really great teacher, probably because he's a DO and not an MD. I hear they're better teachers. Maybe I'm biased. But I was in a completely different department, and so I avoided him like the plague. But I had to take one anatomy class, which is incredibly unfortunate. All of my classmates decided they were going to stay up until midnight, like my dad was some sort of midnight premiere of 50 Shades of Grey. My dad looks like Santa Claus. It was a very different kind of anatomy class. I stayed up till like 7 that night and went to bed just so I could get into the other anatomy class. And I ended up in an anatomy class with a bunch of paramedics. I don't know if you know anything about student paramedics, but it's a bunch of like 18 to 30-year-old really hypersexual males. Having an anatomy class with them was fun, but it wasn't with my dad, so everything was good until my dad subbed for that class. He walks into the room, goes, gentlemen, this is my daughter. Today we're going to teach her how babies are made. If there was one lecture for that entire 16 weeks that you don't want your dad teaching when they haven't had the sex talk with you and you're a virgin, it's that one. He looks at me and goes, when a mommy likes a daddy, there's a special hug. And this is what I did. Why is this happening? I think I blacked out. The only thing I remember from that entire class was my dad drawing a sperm on the blackboard. Okay, the sperm was called Bob. He wore a top hat and a bow tie. I don't remember why. I think he was trying to teach us the different parts of the sperm, but in my head I'm thinking, does he want me to go after really nice men that have top hats and a bow tie because my dad owns neither of those things? And he ended the lecture with, and that is why Jay is so goddamn ugly. Well, Dad, live streaming this at home, it's genetics. I get it from you.
You got it right.
I'll get that.